From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big midday and a big holidays, LALATE, direct from Santa Monica, California, with your fourth stimulus check updated 2020 live in this recording, and the reveal of the LALATE Christmas tree shopping extravaganza. In this recording, we go over that incredible recon that is now passed in the House and off to the Senate. The Senate has vowed to add lots of checks to them, and so far there may be upwards of $50,000 to $60,000 of checks. I'm going to go over all the latest breaking details about that at noontime. Meantime, one viewer got $850,000 for third stimulus. My goodness, you can get it as well, as one viewer got $10,000 this last week alone. We'll be turning to student loan debt forgiveness and fifth stimulus, but the excitement across the board is, in this recording, we're going to look at the LALATE tree and its purchase over the weekend. We're going to look at that and more. And we have a lot of big surprises as we look back and look forward over tree buying, how to prepare for that tree, because it's a holidays LA show. Those exciting details and more. It's a big live broadcast from Santa Monica, California, with the reveal of the LALATE Christmas tree purchase. The excitement starts right here, right now, as holidays LALATE gets underway live from Santa Monica. And happy holidays. So this is Holidays LALATE. I'm excited you're here as the recon is off to the Senate, and the Senators vowed to add a lot more checks, and we have breaking news about that MSC at noontime. Big breaking news. So then we go over the incredible programs in this recon that may pay upwards of $50,000 to $60,000, a lot more than the $15,000 we initially thought. For third stimulus still paying out, and one viewer getting $850,000. One viewer this last week getting $10,000. Oh my goodness, we have incredible details. Student loan debt forgiveness, and then the exciting details of fifth stimulus. We got a big recording today, and of course, in the second half of this recording, you're gonna see shopping for the LALATE Christmas tree. It's a big holidays live broadcast, and I'm gonna be jumping in the live chat with you. And this, my friends, is Holidays LALATE, and I'm excited you're here. If you're new to this channel, Holidays LALATE covers your financial news in the first half, and the second half is the latest about holiday decor. I'm excited you're here, and with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers in a year and a half. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video. Let's come on. 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Get that newsletter tonight. Meantime, if you haven't signed up for the LALATE alerts, do so. The link is under the video, and away we go. That incredible recon so far has a lot of checks in it, and those checks may amount to a lot more than $15,000, what we initially thought. There may be upwards of $50,000 to $60,000, because get your pen and paper ready. We're going over each of those checks starting right now. Cluster number one got in there. hazard pay. My essential workers, whoa, this is great. Earn income tax credit for one more year. $4,000 of checks for my elder care. $4,000 to care for young people. Then they got the Pell Grant in for my college students. $550 checks to you. Yes. They got in there the CTC child tax credit, $3,600 approximate check for 1 year. And then they got in there the home repairs if you live in a low-income community. Finally, the real excitement is $12,500 checks for the purchase of a new electric car. Wow, it is great. If you want to learn about how to get any of these incredible checks, join me next on Afternoons LA, which comes up right after this video. The second cluster, the first add-on that comes is from Maxine Waters, $25,000. She got to this incredible recon, and this is for the first-time home purchases. Wow. This is if you want to go buy your first home. She got a little bit less than $25,000. I have the latest details later today on Afternoons LA. Cluster number 2 has lots of money in there. Paid leave, which is upwards of $6,000 a year. Then they got the home repairs, weatherizing your home, and the pre-kindergarten and the household tax credit. You need to weatherize your home because you love those carolers that come, but you don't like when Mitch shows up with lobster sauce. It's just not the holiday for lobster sauce. Then let's go to the second add-on. It comes from the illustrious Bob Casey, the wonderful senator from Pennsylvania. He got in there the paid home health care for my seniors and disabilities. He wanted $250 billion. He got a little bit less. How do you get all this money? It's coming up today on Afternoons LA. The cluster number 3 got in there. Lots of checks. This is what we call the deliciousness cluster. Why? Because there's so much in there. They got in there free school meals for all. They got in there cheaper prescription medication. Immigration reform. They got in there the farmers, the free internet, and then the independent contractors and the Medicare expansion. The Medicare expansion truly embodies what the senators and the House members are doing. Why? Because the House members got 2 Medicare expansions in there, and the senators vowed to add 3 more. The House members got in there the hearing and the Medicaid gap fix. The senators vowed to add in their checks for dental, vision, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare. If you were not tuning in last week, I believe it was Friday, one viewer, Janet, was in the live chat on this show, now the most watched show of its kind on LA, and she was in the live chat, and she said she picked up the phone and called Leader Schumer's office before Thanksgiving, spoke to Leader Schumer's office's staffer, advocated for the inclusion of an MSC, and were told, yes, it is still going in there, that MSC from Bernie Sanders. This is as thousands of viewers have been told since the month of May that a MSC is coming from those senators on the Senate side. MSC stands for multiple IRS stimulus check. And those senators have represented they would add it on the Senate side when the bill lands in the Senate. It's now in the Senate. They have represented the eligibility would be the same as a third stimulus. Single individual, $75,000 or less, got it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, got it. Double it. Family of 4, got it. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI or SSDI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, or adult dependents, you got that third stimulus check. What are they looking at across the board? They're looking at a price point of at least 1 or more checks. And the last amount they gave to us was $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for 6 months. That is why you need to advocate. As that wonderful viewer, Janet, who was in the live chat on that show and has been in many of the live chats since that show, she said, you need to pick up the phone and advocate. Tell the story of why you need it. Since the month of May, thousands and thousands of viewers have been told that an MSC is going in there. They have been told by those 6 senators, and you need to pick up the phone and advocate to them. Who are they? They are Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer have told viewers since the month of May that it's going in there, and they have told viewers in recent days. Pick up the phone and talk to their staff. Leave a voice message is the second best. Tweet is the weakest. Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer, and advocate for that inclusion. And that's what they want you to do. Here is a message from one of those 6 senators to LALATE. His chief of staff says the following: keep on advocating. We now have in total between congressional senators' offices see more contacts of advocacy from the LA Purple Power than the number of signatures in the American petition. Everyone's amazed by the outpouring of touching stories. Now they have a better understanding of what Americans are going through to make it through this pandemic. They have heartbreaking stories and the voice of people across the nation and you, LA, as you have been too loud to be ignored. Please continue your continued encouragement until this becomes a law. Very, very kind. So dedicate some time to picking the phone and advocating. Also, dedicate some time in the week for you to advocate for your wallet. Why? Because third stimulus is still paying your bills. This is rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, food, and internet, and boy, baby, it's a lot of money. In the second half, on Afternoons LA coming up next on this channel at 1 and 3 o'clock, you're going to see as one viewer has now gotten 30 plus people $850,000 from third stimulus, and how viewers every single day this week have gotten money upwards of $10,000. You can get those incredible sums of money. Tune into Afternoons LA and Evenings LA coming up next. Student loan debt forgiveness. There's an offer of $10,000 on the table to be forgiven. The Democrats should take it. The president previously forgave student loan debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation, people who went to work in the nonprofit sector, and people who went to work in the public sector 10 years after graduation. This stimulus, very important for beneficiaries, because guess what? You're going to get that COLA raise on January 1. If you haven't received the COLA letter, don't worry. Your benefits are going up 5.9% on January 1, but that's not sufficient. COLA is the current benchmark. They're going to remove it and replace it with inflation under fifth stimulus. Raise your benefits up one time. Apply the new benchmark starting in December 2022, which would give you 3 raises in 1 year. They're going to remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty. And a lot of is going to win. You'll be able to do a pair dance at your own wedding like Rob and Sandy. Let's turn back then to forced stimulus, because guess what? Those senators vow to add a lot more checks to this recon. In addition to that MSC, Bernie Sanders' representative put dental in there, hearing, dental, vision, and also lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to 55. The House of Representatives are passing the recon, and all now off to the Senate. But on Afternoons LA today and Evenings LA today, you're going to see the latest concern about the variant Omicron, and why there's a sense of urgency to get this recon done out of the House and Senate faster than initially thought. There's a sense of urgency to get that recon done fast out of the Senate, making big and bold and more. In the second half of this video, we're going to look at the LALATE Christmas tree purchase. Oh my goodness. And we're going to look back at how different it was from purchasing a tree in 2020 versus purchasing a tree in 2021. Those details and more as we go into our holidays part of this recording. It's the second half, and I'll be jumping in the live chat. The key question jumping into the live chat today is, have you bought your tree, real or fake? Which one do you use? Is it real or fake, and have you bought it? I'll be jumping in the live chat with you after the commercial break, and I'll be back with you in 60 seconds.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. and then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues live from Santa Monica second half as we go into holidays LALATE. In the second half, we're going to go over purchasing the tree, transporting the tree, and prepping the tree for bringing it into the home. During the commercial break, I asked viewers in the live chat, have you bought the tree or not? And is it artificial or real? Jump in the live chat if you haven't posted your comments yet, and I may feature you on air in just a second. If we look back to 2020, last year on this channel, viewers are asking, can I see a tree? Can I see a tree? Well, this is what the tree looked like in buying it last year. And boy, I bought the LALATE Christmas tree over the weekend, and the universe of buying a tree is different today than it was last year dramatically. Let's look how it looked like last year in 2020. In December, in the middle of the pandemic, in buying a Christmas tree. Look at how the trees are stacked up. Look and see how they're organized. Look at the amount of space you have to purchase a tree. And then we're going to see how different it was yesterday. Here again is what it looked like last year in buying a tree.
Here comes a special treat. After this, I want to show you the holidays tree from the LALATE studios. Over the last few weeks, viewers have asked me, can you show us will you be showing us the Christmas tree from the LALATE studio? Of course I am. I've always said that I would. What I did a few weeks ago was I bought the Christmas tree and brought it to the studio. And in bringing it to the studio, I prepared it accordingly. It is still not finished. In this footage that I'm about to show you, I'm going to show you how it took in bringing this tree from the tree park to the studio. What's important to understand when preparing a tree and buying the right tree at the park is deciding between Noble and Douglas fir. Then when you get the tree to the cache, to the point at which you're about to purchase it, make sure they give you a clean cut at the bottom of the tree so that it newly refreshes the bottom of the tree to get ready to put it into water. Next, the first thing I do is as soon as the tree arrives at its final destination, put it in a big bucket of water. Whether it's a dog bowl, an old dog bowl, or a bucket, put it in a bucket of water, and really an enormous amount of water. Fill it all the way at the top. Don't worry if the trunk is a little bit wet. Get a lot of water in that tree. Let it eat up that water. Leave it outside in the cold air overnight so it loves that cold air and that cold water. Because before next destination is in the hot house, before the heater, inside the hot room that has the furnace burning, a few feet away from it. So you want to cool that tree down and get its water and get it replenished. It's been a while since it's been on the ground, and now it needs some refreshing, replenishing. It's thirsty. So then with that, in bringing the tree in, make sure you always have the tree fully secured. There is nothing worse than a tree that collapses inside. I've had it happen. Everyone has had it happen. So make sure you got that tree secure. Finally, when you get the tree up, take your time. Take your time. I always start with the lights. Always start with the lights. Get the lights in position, and then after you get the lights in position, push them in, and then get the ornaments getting ready to go. In this video footage, for the first time ever on the channel, you're going to see the tree coming in position. Again, it's not finished. You're going to see it from the holiday park, the Christmas tree park, to its place on the set.
In this part of the video, we now see how trees were stacked in a Christmas tree park in 2020. Let's see how it looked last year and get ready to see how it looked yesterday.
Its current unfinished condition. It is still not, it still needs a couple more days of decorating, but I'll show you the final product. And for now, here is the work in progress. So here we are at the tree park, and we're looking at some incredible trees here today. This is the incredible Douglas firs that are 7 to 8 feet in height, and so these 7 and 8 feet height in trees are just gorgeous. Incredible Douglas firs, which I always prefer because it's a more lush tree. They got them about 6 to 8 feet in height, and here you go. These are 7 to 8s, incredibly lush, and you see the dynamic of them. They have an incredible strong odor to them, and they're very, very soft and full firs, which are totally different. You can see the noble firs have a sort of blue hue to them. But what's incredible about these trees is that you can bring this aroma and scent in the home, and the scent will stay there throughout the holiday season. Just really quite gorgeous. Got the tree on top of the car and ready to go.
That was last year. I'm looking at that video and I'm laughing for so many reasons because it's so different now. What changed in 1 year? I mean, it is really the impact of supply chain. It is really the impact of the supply chain. What has changed so much? Number one, the trees in the park were very green last year. Do you notice how green they were? They were very green. We're going to be talking about that in a second. Number two, they didn't look that tall. Do you notice? Because I'm relatively tall, and they look just a little bit taller than me. Number three, did you notice how much spacing there was? How much room you could walk into the little bends and take a tree and stand it up and move around? A lot of trees, a lot of room. Now let's see what it looked like yesterday. Yeah, I feel like there's a big letdown coming. It's a little bit different. Let's look at what happened when the LA Christmas tree for 2021 was bought.
Height that you want, and you have to figure out the width. I mean, here's one of the trees that I was considering. One of the issues I had, I don't know if you can tell, is that the tree has a lighter green hue to it. Tree on the right of me is a darker green. I ultimately went for a darker green hue. I've traditionally seen that if a tree is lighter green, that it may be older. It may not be as fresh. Hard to say. Some people say it's just the way the tree grew. I go by scent. I literally go by scent. Now here is one tree that literally looks like it may have departed to the afterlife. Here's another tree where you see the tree is so much darker and green. Ultimately, I want the smell. Now, it's interesting. I almost went with this tree. This is one of the first trees I picked out. Usually, I go with the very first tree I pick out. And what's interesting is when I opened it up and I looked at it, it was big, it was broad, but it was very mangled. Very, very mangled. And it seemed like a candidate. I mean, it's a heavy tree. It's a big tree. You see how much taller it is than me. Very green, but it looks very mangled. The branches, I don't know if I can get to stand for you. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. The branches just look sort of mangled. And so I opted against that one because I want a tree that ultimately is aesthetically pleasing. So takeaway is that first you want the tree tall enough, you want it broad enough, but also have a perfect shape. And, what I take is I take the tree and I shake it, hit it on the ground once. So let's see it loosen up and let's see its shape. It looked a little too mangled. Just really looked mangled. May have been in the shipping process, looked mangled. Other trees, very, very petite and in tight form. But you see the issue here this year is it's sort of different. Everything is just sort of piled in here. I'm a pretty strong guy, and yet how do you pick out a tree if it's so darn compact in here? There you go. It's just night and day from last year. So much to think about. First, did you notice how different hue of green they were since last year? Last year they were green. This year they're just sort of like grayish green. Yeah, different season because last year we were on lockdown. Everyone, the trees were able to do their own thing without us around. Now this year the trees are less green. Second, the trees were so much taller this year. I have no idea what happened. Trees are just astronomically taller. And the form of the tree was totally different this year. They were very tall and skinny. So straight up and not particularly wide. I mean, wide. I like a really fat tree. I'm sorry. I love my trees very bodacious, very, very rotund trees. And they weren't as rotund as in previous years. Now, you saw what happened was in that area where you choose your tree, it was so compact. It was so compact. I mean, imagine each of these trees. They're not light. I mean, they're at least 15 pounds to pick up. And you had pile after pile of tree in just a tight time frame. So why was that the case? I think it was made to look like there's a lot more trees than there are.
And last year, you could see that sort of the bin went on for maybe 200 feet, 100 feet or 10, 30, 50 feet, 60 feet. It was a lot of space. This year, less space, a lot of trees, an entire space. I'm going to look like there's a lot of trees. Price point. Price point went up a lot. I mean, price point went up a lot. I saw trees go up about 2 years ago, maybe pre-pandemic. And then last year, I think went up a little bit more. But I mean, the price of this tree was nearly double what it was nearly 3 years ago, pre-pandemic. So it shows the price escalation across the board. Trees are very, very fresh. And in other footage you're going to see on this channel all this week, because there are a lot of footage that I shot at the tree park, you're going to see the importance of that cut, that importance of preparing the tree. So where's the tree right now? Exactly what I said in the 2020 video. The tree brought in and then immediately put in a big bucket and soaked with water. When I mean soaked with water, probably almost 2 feet to 3 feet of water, like literally this much water. Doesn't matter if it's not going to use it all. You want to saturate it. I washed it down, and I don't care if you're in a cold weather or a hot climate, just wash it down and soak it and let it sit there overnight. Because, yeah, it's going into that heated house that has that furnace blowing and the lights, and it's going to quickly, dry up. The trees, unlike a plant in the gardening center, is not watered by the store after they're cut. So they're cut at the farm, brought to the destination. They have not had water. That is why that water is so important for the saturation before you bring it in the house. I went to the tree park with all the tools I featured on yesterday's episode: the scissor, the wrench, and the tape measure. The scissor was very important because, you're looking at a tree that's that tall. You got to cut through that tree and open it up. And you saw one or two trees very mangled, and there's no other better word to use than mangled. Looks good, wrapped up, open it up, and then the branches just look like it had a bad hairstyle. It looks like it had a bad hairstyle. And you're like, I thought you were going to be a candidate. And I was like, oh, okay. And ultimately, I did opt for a tree that the branches looked not as broad as I would like, but they had a beautiful, perfect projection. They protruded exactly the same direction out the door. Ultimately, a lot of other takeaways from that purchase, which was first, tree parks in the previous years, I can remember showing up at 9 o'clock and they were not open. Here, open at 6 o'clock in the morning with a line. Now, not the type of lines you would expect, when we hear about these incredible demands for things. But, a lot of people out quicker buying those trees. What I recommended in the last video, of course, was buying the Christmas tree the weekend of Thanksgiving weekend. Very well advised if you followed it, because why? There was very little traffic across the country on Friday, Saturday. Sunday picked up, and of course, everyone's back from the holidays right now. So that's always often a good way to pick it up because of the transport. You can just sort of take your time driving home, make sure the tree's really secure on the car. You saw that footage from 2020, same way transported this season. So let's jump in the live chat and let's see some of the interaction. I saw Sandy said she gets an artificial tree. I saw Anne saying she loves a fresh tree. There is El Marie. People are sharing advice where to buy trees. And people are talking about where the type of tree delivers the type of look. We have Anne saying she likes where she goes because it's fresh, gorgeous, and they're very cleanly fresh cut. Absolutely. Dragon has a very interesting comment. It depends on where they come from. Where we were selling Christmas trees, they had them shipped in from a Christmas tree farm in Oregon. Yeah, a lot of the trees in Southern California come from the Northwest. Here is El Marie, actually has 3 artificial trees. And yesterday got a real tree and couldn't find a pretty healthy one. Oh, very interesting. So here's El Marie, who reports couldn't find a very healthy looking tree. You saw the video comparison of the trees from 2020 on this channel to 2021. Less green. Of course, the tree I opted for was very, very green, thank goodness. Less super, super green tree, less broad, and just sort of like a different type of tree. Now, there have been talks about tree shortages for many, many years because it's based upon how many they cut. But if you don't have workers to cut them, you don't have trucks to transport it, it's all a lot of questions. Looks normal color to me, says Dragon. Bob is making some jokes. Maybe it's about a bacon tree. Alvin the Chipmunks may be out there, says Lacoste. Yeah, you don't want the Alvin the Chipmunks to come close. And there is Georgia Peach says, yes, those are very pretty. Yeah, people are opting for the aesthetic. The aesthetic of the tree is so important. The aesthetics are always important because you're ultimately choosing a tree that brings beauty to the room. Height is usually the first parameter, but the width is usually the second parameter. The third is the beauty. And you have to get that triple whammo. You have to get the height, the width, and the beauty all in one. I have a lot more footage you're going to see on this channel from that Tristram Speed purchase. We're going to go over that cut, how to make sure that cut is clean. We're going to go over how different it was comparing that Douglas versus the Noble. Of course, you saw me featuring a Douglas in 2020 and a Douglas in 2021. When you're buying the Douglas fir, it's a more dense tree. The Noble fir is a less dense tree. Noble fir you may see in like a bank. They just put maybe 3 ornaments, and it just you see from the tree all the way to the trunk. Not my style. I like a dense tree. Bob, Georgia P says, Bob Bacon is hanging strips of turkey bacon on his tree as we speak. Yes, Bob. Make sure they're near the light so you get a roasted bacon. It's so hysterical jokes in the live chat right now. Dragon, thank you for showing part of your Christmas tree to us. Yes, I appreciate it. It wasn't exactly the tree I bought, but it was the candidate for the tree. That was the bid in which the tree was bought. It was actually opted for a tree right next to it. The footage was actually filmed minutes after the tree was bought. So I wanted to get the tree because there was a lot of people in line, then came back and shot the footage. Let's see some more of the great comments in the live chat. Janice says, I usually buy a Colorado blue spruce or a Norfolk pine because we weren't allowed to have them in this building. Then we went for the artificial ones only. Wow. Someone very good on their species of tree there. I love it. Really wonderful. Then a lot of people comparing price points. Absolutely. The price point's really a big issue across the board. Oh, one of the things I wanted to tell you is that the fascinating thing, very, very peculiar, but also fascinating. Price point at this tree park for 6 to 7 foot trees was the same as no, I said that wrong. Price point for 7 to 8 foot trees was the same price point as 8 to 9. What? Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. 7 to 8 was the same price point as 8 to 9. And what I taught viewers in the prior video is they're never pure numbers. So if you want something that's about 8, you can get a 7 to 8. And if you go to 8 to 9, it may be 8 and a quarter. So you might as well just opt for the 7 to 8 to save the money. In this case, the 7 to 8 was the same price as the 8 to 9. And what were the trees coming in at? Very, very few trees were at 9. I mean, I don't think I saw one that was 9. I saw a few 8 and almost 8.4. I don't think I even saw an 8.5. I saw a lot of 8.2s. Ultimately, you have to measure from the base all the way to the top. Interesting tidbit, though, is that some of the trees were robust and then had a little thing at the top. Very, very little. You have to leave some space for that angel. And when there's very little at the top, it counts as to the height of the tree because the angel, an angel is going to be about this big. So make sure you get a tree that you measure from the base all the way to the top. And that could make the difference of almost half a foot when you see that extra spacing on the angel at the top. Let's jump back in the live chat and see more of the incredible comments. Great questions across the board. Bob is looking for that Mitch ball. It's New Year's Eve, Bob. Here's Dragon. The Nordman fir is one of the most pretty tree with a silver frosted color. Oh, there we go. So a lot of people have a lot of very sophisticated and understanding. Thank you, Dragon, for that great comment about these hues of the tree. What did I do? I didn't know. So I asked the store merchant, store employee, I said, why is this tree sort of lightish green? He said, don't really know. Don't really know. We don't have leaves that change color here that often here. My daughter is in Tennessee, says Georgia, and got a Christmas tree right down the road from her. Very easy. There you go. Sandy says, I'm having artificial animals also. I'm not going to feature that on the air, Sandy. I know one of those viewers with that one. But I love that. I appreciate them. They do smell wonderful. Yes, La Costa. Smelling the tree is part of the experience. And trust me, my nose was working. It's magic that day. I was literally putting my nose right into every tree. Smell the tree, smell the tree, smell. I was just smelling those trees to make sure the odor was exactly what I wanted. You have to make that effort because guess what? It ultimately pays off in the end. When you ultimately choose that tree, the impact is felt across the board. When we look at these trees from that park on over the weekend, and you look at it, I mean, look, you got to get real and tight. You got to look at the depth of the tree. You have to look at the hue. You have to see if that color suggests maybe it's past life. You have to get that wrapper open. You have to lift it up. You have to shake it. You have to see, are the tree limbs green in the dense part and also on the outside? So I was looking for both greenery on the outside and the inside because the lights are going to be on the inside in some cases and they're going to see it. You have to see how broad it is on both sides. And trust me, you don't want to have a tree that's good on one side and bad on the other. You always have that happen. You go home and you're like, oh no, it has a bad side. Which side am I going to turn to the window? So ultimately, you have to look and compare. And if you have a lot of trees, then good. I've often opted for the very first tree at the park. Here's an interesting shot here at the, let's see if I can go back a little bit more, that shows the base of one of the trees on the left. So there you go. I don't particularly like that, the upper middle one. Why? Because that means when I open it up, if the limbs start significantly off the ground, I'm going to have a lot of open air off the ground. I don't like that. I like those limbs as low to the ground as possible. We're going to see a lot more footage from Santa Monica, California, live on air daily at 11 a.m. on Holidays LA, featuring more about the holiday Christmas tree purchase, how to prepare that tree. We're going to go over decorating. We're going to go over food. We're going to go over your comments, which I loved in the live chat. Thank you for delivering your incredible live comments. Meantime, coming up next is 1 o'clock Afternoons LA and a brand new Afternoons LA at 3 o'clock. We have breaking news as one viewer, as you saw her, Janet, picking up the phone and advocating for that inclusion of that stimulus check, being told that it's going in there. You need to advocate across the board. Casey, Coons, Sanders, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer, you need to advocate across the board because that provision is one of many of the senators vowed to add to that incredible recon, and she was told by Schumer, it's going in there. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any video. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video if you enjoyed watching this video. Come on, 3,000 likes. Consider becoming a member. The link's under the video. And consider joining the LATE alerts. It's totally free. It's under the video, so you get alert when a new video goes live like this one from LA Alerts, the only news alert system like it in the nation. I'm excited you've joined me today, and I love all your incredible insights you brought on camera in that live chat about the species of the tree, about the bacon ornaments. I don't know if I particularly like that, but I'll work on it. And those details and more. Join me next as a big Afternoons LA show starts at 1 o'clock. And join me daily as Holidays LA heats up at 11 a.m.